Hi guys, of course, as usual, there are so many questions. And by the way, I'm going to use a few cards because I feel like I know that some of the questions that I want to do are kind of, I would say difficult. How do I say it? Or that I'm sort of expecting something bad. So sometimes having cards is kind of a sort of comforting. It's like a bridge, okay? Or I wonder if this is sort of exhausting in a different way, okay? So, but I have so many questions. I want to keep doing it, okay? Not in a bad way, okay? Some people say, oh, you should take a break. Of course, um, we all should take a break. But there's so many guys. It never ends. Okay, the questions never end. So I want to know. Okay, so that's that. So just an update here. Um, I want to do this reading. I want to focus on the translator because there was this news of the translator at the meeting, and my question is, what did she see in the meeting that she found the most alarming? Okay, and did she talk to Mueller? All right, and then okay, guys. Oh, there are readings I'm going to do next, which I think I am myself a little scared to do actually, because when I saw Dan Coates is the head of that, I guess DNI, I think it's called. It's like I forgot. I don't know exactly the name of the agency, but he's the one who gave the alarm about the cyber attacks, the great attacks, and I was like, boom, that's it. Remember the thing I kept seeing, the whole thing with the grid and all that, and I feel like I have a feeling it's that, guys. So I feel like I want to know more. I want to know more, but it scares me a little bit because it's one of those difficult things. And another thing that I want to do, I know it sounds a little bit, it's not naive, but it's sort of like I kind of want to do a meditation, guys, about this if we can protect our infrastructure. Because you know what I'm sensing? I'm sensing that there is a way in which the worst can be averted, okay? I feel like there may be indeed something, but it may not be as bad as I don't think it's going to be one of those things that's going to be to go down in history, but I feel like there's kind of ways to try to prevent it, okay? And I feel like in some ways I am feeling this strongly, okay, just by the fact that I'm feeling this and talking about it, I feel like it's a warning to somebody out there. So if somebody works in intelligence is watching this, hopefully, and I'm sure they've given us the alarm, so it's not like they don't know what's going on. So I feel like the more we talk about it, okay, the better it is because there's more clarity. But I don't want to get started with that because that's kind of stresses me out just to think about it a little bit. So the translator is kind of a relatively neutral question, okay? So let's start with that. What did the translator see that alarmed her the most? And I'm just going to do 3 Lenormand cards, guys, because I do Lenormands for personal readings a lot, okay? Because the Lenormands, you can't really have much of an interpretation. The cards are very straightforward about what they represent, so they're not. It's sort of like it doesn't give you a lot of the story. And what I do with the visions is kind of filling out the story. So this just gives me an initial. Let me just 3 cards here. Okay, so let's see the translator. Oh my God, look, very interesting. So the lady is the Russia card, okay? Dotard, really? Oh yeah, oh yeah, Doing something behind lady and Dotard. Have something hidden underneath the cloud. Okay, I know that. Is there more information? What is? Give me the meat here. Hello. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is public society or networks. Could be networks. This is the law. Okay. And this is something becomes known. Okay. In a way, this is a card of fame. But if you contextualize it with this, it means public. Something becomes public about the government. About some. This is what I don't know why I thought it was floating, guys. Something becomes public as a result of the investigation. And Okay, this. What else? Oh, money. Hmm. You like some money, bitch? Oh yeah, I like some money. So anyway, so that's that. So let's just leave it at that. I don't want to get so many cards. Okay. And it's interesting, guys. It's giving me the, even the, when I close my eyes, it gives me the message, relax, telling me, relax, calm down. All you need to do is close your eyes. And it's okay. Okay, just, so I feel like, in a way, I should just close my eyes and not, okay. All right, so, okay, so I'm gonna, okay, so tell us about the translator. So she sat down. She knew she was herself quite nervous. She was just taking, she was doing her job because, and I've done translation myself. I've done live translation. It's very, very complicated, and you have to be on. You know, it's you don't have a minute to think. It's just you have to be translating all the time. Okay, so. Guys, it's interesting because what I'm seeing here, she's taking notes, obviously. Well, not taking notes, but she's translating, right? But I feel like what I see here that I think, because the question is, what did she see that she thought was strange? So what I'm getting here is the sense that Putin dictates everything. He says, I want this, I want that, I'm going to go do this, I want to do that. So he's using this whole thing with military thing, and I think it's probably related to Syria. And I'm thinking it's like shifting military bases, okay? And I feel like he's trying to push again. It's this whole thing, guys, the military thing. He wants the U.S. to open up military bases in Hawaii or like again the West Coast something, so that with the excuse that they're going to need to move around or like something where they're trying to find an excuse for this, okay? So she was alarmed by this, and then she was also alarmed by how he's just dictating, and Trump is like, okay, sure. It's as if Trump brings nothing to the table. She's like, I'm not, she's thinking to herself, I've never seen this. When we have meetings, we have an agenda. You have to want to accomplish something. Trump has nothing. Okay, so Trump doesn't have an agenda, which is, she finds it extremely strange. There's such a high profile meeting he's being dictated to. Okay, so he's, like I said, Putin has this agenda, and it's that he doesn't have room to say yes or no. He's just saying what's going to happen. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna close. Putin is dictating the narrative of what's going to happen, quote unquote. You know, he has the kind of fake. He's like storyteller, fake storyline about Syria, how this is going to happen, this is going to go, and this is how he finds the excuse to try to get more troops into American soil. And he has very advanced, weaponry, whatever you call it. You know what I mean? Like I said, the thing with these attacks that I think is what he's planning to do. Now, okay, so if she's going to tell, I don't know, maybe she doesn't tell anybody, but if she were to tell a friend what happened at this meeting, right? Because that would be very simple language. What was her concern? What did she know? If she could tell them a summary of what happened, because obviously we don't have that, right? What would it be? It's interesting because she's saying what's the strangest thing about this meeting was that the Russians already have a kind of like a determined schedule of events, as if she's saying they speak as if they are victimized, okay, and that they're planning on these military movements as if they're going to be attacked. They're like, oh, we're under attack. We don't understand why there's these sanctions, but also military. So she feels that they're nervous and they want to attack. They want to kind of get into position, to get into these strategic military positions quickly. They feel something's, I mean, I feel like they know something's coming. This is my comment. But her comment is that it's strange how they want to move these military positions. And they feel like it's almost like they really want to move very quickly. They're kind of desperate, okay? So this is what she's saying, all right? Okay, so I don't think, so that's that, okay? And so what they called agreement, it wasn't an agreement. Like I said, it's like they push, because I had the next question was going to be all this military agreement. So it's like basically they push these narratives when they have meetings with Trump, and then there's no discussion. They decide what happens. And so the only thing that all discussions only happens when the military says no, it's going to happen. Not U.S. military declines, because the U.S. military is not involved in these discussions with Russia. Okay. Okay. So and say now it's pointing me to Flynn. This is why Flynn was important to them. They didn't want to lose Flynn because Flynn knew all of that. Okay. Oh my God. So okay. So it makes sense. So anyway, so this is why they publish things first, and then Trump has to be the one to talk, to tell the military what happened in these meetings. Okay, so they're irked. Okay, so that's that guy. So I feel like now it ties in with the whole thing that I've seen before, the military and why they're upset and It's not just because the military thought it was real, because the Russians want to use the U.S. military to achieve their goals. This is what is worrying to the military. It's not just that they have to protect the country, but that they see what's happening because they've done this their whole lives. Trump doesn't care. He's a tool, like I said. All right, so I'm going to stop here and ask about this so-called military plan or agreement. Okay, I think the translator gave information here. It was good. Oh, and the last question I forgot to ask here, I'm reading my notes, is whether she's talking to Mueller. I feel like she is. She will. Is she going to tell Mueller? Will anybody ask her about what she's been taught, like what's happened in these meetings? Is she being asked by Mueller? Will she be asked? Okay, so let's see here. See the 3 cards. Just be interesting to see. Oh, look, private life. That's right, private communications. Gossip. Okay. Money. Interesting. The things that were discussed for money, I guess. I don't know. Interesting. Private conversations and what they talk. That's right. They're gossiping. They're talking. And money. Whether any of it had to do with money. Okay. Will she reveal anything particularly interesting? Okay, this is fun. Love. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hmm. Interesting. She feels that. Wow. I wonder if she knows about that. I wonder if she knows. Because the question is, will she reveal anything interesting? This is fun and love. And the retired man. This looks like Trump a little bit. Interesting. So, wow. Yeah. She may know. Okay, so will she talk to Mueller and what will she say? Yes, I did find it was a little strange that he had a very unusual behavior. I've watched presidents, they don't act like this. He had no information, he had no aides. He was there just listening like a puppy, like a baby. Putin seemed to be, he was leading and he was expecting him to follow, to do what he wanted. Trump was taking he knew that he was there to capture some sort of information or order. And Putin was there just letting him know what he wanted. And Trump was nodding pretty much and complaining about the people that didn't want to do what he had asked to do. So Trump is clearly not the person who's making decisions or a person bringing the information to the table. He's just there sitting there. And it seemed, she's saying yes, at some point he did refer something to the effect that I like how you enjoyed yourself in Moscow. We remember that well. Something like he made it known that he had the information. It was a very quick comment and I watched Trump's face. I find it weird because I had read in the press those ideas and it seemed very plausible because he got nervous all of a sudden and he was like looking the other way. Okay. So what about the, money, anything with money? Oh, I think Putin spoke in coded terms maybe about hotels, like, oh, this is how your business is, something or reference to the business, Trump's business, or how, I don't think he was direct. Did he mention figures, specific figures? I don't know that he did. I'm trying to think maybe. I don't know. But I think he mentioned something about hotels. Our partnership goals has been going on for a year. Something where he mentions things very in passing, casually. He only talks a little bit about these things, but when he talks, he pauses and he says, I like how you enjoyed yourself that day, whatever that was. So that's how he reminds Trump every time, okay? So that's that. Okay. So I think it's like, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, so is there some sort of financial thing? I think he asked because somehow she feels that at some point he mentioned something related to a hotel or like their business partnerships for a long time. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna stop here.